I'm doing this devlog rather quickly this week because I've been really busy with my full-time job, and I've also just been doing lots of cleanup on the game code that isn't very interesting to talk about. Since I don't have any programming training, I usually just use whatever approach I know works, even if it's really awkward. For example, whenever I wanted to iterate through a dictionary, I was using a for_i_in_range dictionary.size command to determine the number of dictionary keys there are to look at, and then using I to call each of those keys. Eventually, I realized that it's possible to just use for_i_in_dictionary to directly call each key. Whenever I feel tired or a little overwhelmed, I like to spend time going through the code base to simplify and clean up the code. It's relaxing for me, but it can take up a lot of time sometimes. Another thing I spent a big part of the week working on was the detailed info display that gets pulled up whenever you mouse over a territory. The previous version looked decent enough, but when you're actually playing the game, there's a lot of monotone text there, and it's a little too difficult to immediately get the information that you're looking for, which is important because the territories are deeply connected with how the computer opponents are playing the game. The human player uses combinations of government officials, which give certain abilities, and commanders, which give prestige. And by accumulating enough prestige, the player buys more powerful cards that can then be used to get even more prestige to take over territories. The computer opponents, however, play a very different game. When a computer opponent takes over a territory, they immediately gain a card into their deck, which corresponds to that territory. The computer cards provide both prestige and a special power. And if the computer takes over a territory that has a governor of the same party as that computer opponent, then the card will give an extra boost of prestige every time it's played. I designed this system to help increase the geographic strategy of the game. You need to think carefully about which territories you most need to deprive to the enemy. For example, if you're trying to fill up the enemy deck with worthless cards by giving them infiltrators, you probably want to focus on keeping the enemies away from moons, which will give a card that lets the computer remove bad cards from their deck. Previously, there was a line in the info display telling you the effects of the cards that an AI would get for taking a territory, but this visually got lost within the other information in the display. Now, an image of the enemy's card will show up in the lower corner, which was mostly dead space anyway. The prestige value shows the basic income that the AI will get, and an extra additional circle shows the bonus prestige for the party of that color. This makes it easier to skim through the territories to find the targets you want to prioritize. Having less basic blue text also means that the remaining information about the governors of the territories is easier to find. The actual cost of attacking a territory, however, still felt like it should be a little more pronounced, so I colored it differently. The cost text now starts red, but if you can afford to take the territory, it will turn yellow. A final little addition that I made to the store of cards that you can buy was I added a little box that would give information about any related cards. For example, if there's a card that has an effect to insert a card into your deck or an enemy's deck, you will be able to see the inserted card off to the side. Or if the card will increase the value of another card, that other card will pop up. This is just a little addition to reduce some of the work on the player. I have been working on a major update for the map, which I'm almost finished with, and I'm excited to show that off in the next devlog. But that's all for this week. Thanks.